All right, guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are putting a Spyntec lock and hub conversion kit on the 08 Dodge 2500. I love this kit because as soon as I opened everything up, I seen it was like the old straight axle Toyotas, like an 84 I had at one time, and in my opinion, that's about the best setup you can have. This kit's going to do a lot of things. It's going to save on our front dry shaft. It's going to save on our transmission because it's not going to have to work as hard to push that front differential, spin it, you know. It's going to save on our axle shaft U-joints, which you can see here I've already replaced. And don't worry, I'm going to put a link in the description on a video I've done on replacing these U-joints once before. So if you don't know how to do that, you can stop this video now and go down there, click on that link and watch that. When you do that, these shims right here, you get several of these shims. One shim goes right here and another one goes right there. Do it on both axle shafts. And if you notice right here, new axle shaft ends, you cannot use your factory ones. These come with the kit, but you get new axle shaft ends, spindle, new hub. The race are already inside. They done the favor of going ahead and driving them in for us, which, I mean, they're easy to change. You just put your punch right here and just back and forth pop. Just keep hitting with a hammer until you pop it out. Actually, that one right there, you can go all four sides. And the same difference here on this inner race, do the same thing. And putting them back in is pretty easy. As long as you keep it level, you just drive them back in. It's better to have a race driver, which I have one of them. It comes with mile marker locking hubs, all your hardware for that. If you're wondering why this is open, I've already done one side. This is just half the kit you get. It comes very well packed. Do not throw this away. This is for winter time. Whenever, you know, your hands are real cold, you can put this on the end, just throw this in a glove box, and it'll help you lock and unlock the hubs, make it a little easier. Tinkman bearings, seal, lock nuts, V-seals, spindle seal. Let's see what else. It don't come with new U-joints. Even though I only had about 20,000 on my U-joints, I went ahead and changed them anyway. If you got to tear this down, go ahead and put new U-joints in. Don't put the same ones back in. Why would you? You already got it apart. Just throw the new ones. Get some new ones, throw them in. Directions right here. This first page is talking about these rings right here. It'll tell you how to do that. You just basically hover the ring over as you're pressing it in to hold it in place, or shim, whatever. Now these directions, they're not the best. I glanced through them. I saved them for torque specs. Well, I saved them for two reasons. It's kind of grainy pictures, so the only way you can read is pictures. You better watch this video because you're screwed. But it's got the written out directions right here. If you go here, sorry about the camera moving and the wind blowing. I gotta find that page. Where's it at? Gotta show you all this so you don't call and ask questions like I did. I was curious about step 18. It has been omitted, and it's got something to do with the spiral ring. This is a spiral ring, and you'll see it pulls apart. Spiral, your big C ring. Now Spyntec, they don't say the mile marker hubs, they don't say anything about using both rings, but if you do just use one, you need to use the spiral ring only. You know, use that one over the big C ring, snap ring. But I use both because mile marker has set it up for you to use both, and both fit in there fine. It makes it a little tighter, which is what I want. So when we go to put that in, we'll put the C clip in first, and then the spiral ring over on top of that. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, keep these directions after you get done with the job. Throw them in your glove box or something, toolbox, whatever, because my favorite part about this kit, right here, it's got all the part numbers for everything in here, so you ain't gotta go get on Google and get on the Cummins forum and all that and start looking for part numbers. Keep this, because if you got to replace anything, I mean down to the V-lip seal, wheel bearings, wheel race, everything's here. Keep this. Do not throw this away, because this could come in handy down the road. And here's tools and supplies needed. Yep. So anyway, well, hell, let's get started. All right, as you can see, I've already got everything tore apart. If you don't know how to take all this apart, like I said, go to the link in the description below and on me replacing U-joints in this truck, and you'll know how to take all this apart and replace your U-joints. And just don't forget to use the shim, and don't forget to put your new axle shaft hands on. Don't put your old ones back on. Don't get in a hurry and forget that step. And then once you get the axle shaft U-joints in, you can stop the video there. After you watch that part where I get the axle shaft U-joints in, stop the video there. You can come back here and you'll be all caught up. All right, after you get U-joints in, you got a seal here. It's called a V-lip seal, and the softer end goes towards the outside of the truck. And this flat part here will set up against, flush up against the mudslinger. So we'll put that on first. Put this on before you put it in the truck, because if you put it on after, you're gonna be fighting it, because it's a tight fit. Kind of like what I'm getting this sucker on now. It can be a tad challenging. Make sure it's good and flush. Now we're gonna grease all this too now. All right, we got that on. And before we slide the axle shaft in, actually, let's just go ahead and put that in. I'll show you that in a minute. Now, before you slide your axle shaft in, take your wire brush, clean all that right there up, get it good and clean, because we're going to put anti-seize on all this. Here you got to start filling. Get by your seal right there. Now we got to find that sweet spot. Get this to go through the carrier bearing. All right, I finally got the axle shaft in. I'm going to tell you how I done it. It works every time. I started out doing a little bit of cussing, throwed some tools, took a break from putting it in to go find my tools, come back, and it went right in. So that's how you do that. It's the best way to do it. All right, next we are going to go ahead and put some anti-seize on everything. Try not to get it on that V-seal if you can help it. Alright, we'll go ahead, take some high temp grease and lube our seal up here, our V-seal. You want to lube right in there where your thrust washer is going to sit. Lube the outside. Get a little bit more. Alright. The next thing you grease up is your thrust washer. Now, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but this end right here is like beveled in, and one side is completely flat. You want the beveled inside, the beveled side, to go towards the inside of the truck, which is going to set flush here. And you'll know if you got it wrong, because if you put it on with the beveled in on the outside, it won't set flat against there. So you want that, like I said, the beveled in goes on the inside just like so. We're going to coat that right there with grease. Beveled side to the inside. Slide it over our shaft. Slide it up against that. And this right here is the seal for the spindle. And let me show you that there real quick. Alright guys, I've lost some footage or something, which is just one step, or I forgot to start recording. I don't know which it is, but the next step, pretend like this is our new axle shaft. You know, you got your U-joint, got your axle shaft slid in there, got your V gasket, V-seal, which is around here, and then we slid our plastic washer on. It's got the bevel that goes towards the inside of the truck. It's beveled. We greased that. Next, grease this whole entire axle. Go liberal. Put some grease on that sucker. Then you won't have to worry about it burning anything up, because them bearings that sits inside the spool needs to be greased up pretty good. But anyway, put your grease on and on to the next step. All right, next step, we got to cut our fasteners that holds the spindle on. We actually got to cut 3/8 of an inch off of these, because if you notice, the bolts don't come all the way through like they did on the factory bearing hub assembly. So we're going to go cut 3/8 of an inch off of these, and then we'll come back and put our spindle on. All right, your hub assembly bolts, they've got to be cut down, cut about 3/8 of an inch off. So what you need to do is go get you a lug nut that'll fit this. You probably ain't gonna find a nut nowhere that big, but a lug nut will fit it. Just take it to your hardware store or your auto parts store, whatever, and get a lug nut that'll fit on there. Screw it all the way on. I'm gonna lock this in a vise. Screw it all the way on. We're going to measure. Three-eighths of an inch. I think my dang paint marker's about out. Double check it. Yep. Right there. Perfect. Now we're going to take our lug nut, run it back to that mark just right before you get to it. About where you would cut. About right there. Yep. eye protection, ear protection on. Take our angle grinder and go to town on it. Now the reason why I had you put the lug nut on, that way you can clean your threads up. Because you'd hate to cut it and couldn't get it the screw into the hub. That'll clean them threads right up, reshape them out and all that. And that way, when you go to cutting, if your angle grinder gets away from you, it won't hit the rest of your threads. It'll actually help protect the ones above it, the ones you have. Thing's a little warm. Take a wire brush, clean it off. Work it back and forth a few more times. Test it. Smooth as butter. That's the best way to cut these. All right, next you're going to grease your spindle seal. And what it is this spindle's got bearings on the inside right here. Now they're already greased up. Probably add some more to it just for the heck of it. But this seal right here, it's got a lip on the inside and it's flat on one side. The flat side is actually going to go up against the spindle because it won't even fit in that way. So that's self-explanatory. It's only going to fit in one way. But you're going to want to slide it onto your axle shaft and get it past the grooves here. And you want it to set about right here, just like so. And that way when we put our spindle on, we can just, as soon as we get the spindle up to the where we got our seal, we can just push it on in. It's easier to do it that way. All right, so we'll slide that on. Just getting it over the lip where your C-clip sets for your hub. That's the problem. All right, so we'll put that right there, just like so.